Hi YouTube, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for all the beautiful birthday wishes last week. It was really cool to be able to wake up to a lot of those, like, happy birthday Danielle, happy birthday. My birthday was on Wednesday. It was a wonderful birthday, one of the best in a very long time. So once again, we're here for an energy forecast. This time is for the month of September. Now, you're used to getting weekly forecasts from me, but for some time now, for about a year and a half, I've been doing monthly energy forecasts for my Spirit School podcast. They're very popular, which is what inspired me through the newsletter to create these weekly energy forecasts, because I know that people just enjoy them so much. So you're getting a back end view on how I do these monthly energy forecasts. So I'll be hitting record in a minute here on the podcast, and thank you for tuning in. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Spirit School. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode. I am very grateful that you're here again. If this is the first time tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. You have a ton of content, over 80 episodes to go back on if this episode is something that speaks to you. On the podcast, if you're watching, I would love it if you would just hit 5 stars and leave me a great review, what you love most about this podcast. It really helps other people find it. If you're watching this energy forecast by video on YouTube, thank you so much. Just like and share this video for people that you feel might resonate with it. I really, really appreciate it. So when I tune into the energy forecast, again, I always repeat this, but it bears repeating. I am not looking to gather the energy for the entire collective. That is a big order. And you could have something so vague that it lands with some, not for others. The intention that I set before I do these energy forecasts is simply, Spirit, you know who's going to be tuning in. You know who is going to be drawn to this message. And so I set the intention to speak to those people who I know will tune in. And I may not know you. I may never know that you've tuned in. But just know that if you're listening to this, then this message is for you. And please take what you resonates with you, leave the rest behind, but don't forget it, because it may come up through the month of September. Now, as always, before I get into the cards, I use Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light cards always. And maybe forevermore, we will see, but I definitely get some inspirations from the world of spirit before I get started. And I have to be honest with you, Mother Mary energy was around me all morning, and I knew it was for the energy forecast. I also have my initiation circle, which is a monthly membership for people who are developing mediums or developing intuitives, and we do spirit circles every Friday where we sit in the power. And so I was receiving different inspirations to talk to the initiation circle members about. And I knew Mother Mary was for this monthly forecast. Now, when I tune into the Mother Mary energy, and I just love her energy so much, she really is here for the mothers. I definitely feel that those who have kids right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. Of course, we're heading back into the school year. For my American friends, you guys have been back for a week or two already. And I just feel so much that if I could pin down one word for September, it's uncertain. And this is how come Mother Mary energy is coming in. She really wants to come in and talk about allowing yourself to be nurtured. So this isn't a tall order to like nurture yourself. That's a really big thing to say to people, because it's hard. Some of us don't know how to nurture ourselves. Some of us don't know how what that even looks like, because we haven't prioritized ourselves for a long time, especially the mamas out there who are listening. But the world of spirit is trying to nurture us. And so what she really brings through as a message for this month is, open your heart to be nurtured by unseen forces, by unseen guides and angels and supportive loved ones who really want to come through and allow us to feel the divine love. And our logical minds may want to know the details, who, how, what, but if we can really just open our hearts and just trust that we're receiving divine love, then things will shift in our lives in beautiful ways. Synchronicities will come in, opportunities, mindsets will shift, things that we were inflexible to will all of a sudden have new life into it, because we allow some more flexibility to come in. But I will be honest, in the energy that I feel coming into September, is going to be a little bit uncertain. And I feel like there's so much divine free will at play in the energy that nothing is set in stone. Like, I don't even think the world of spirit is like, this is what's going to happen in September. I feel like everything that will happen is going to be so dependent on how we act and how we think and how we talk to ourselves. You know, I'm a big advocate. If you watch all the energy forecasts, whether you're watching the weekly ones that I send out in my newsletter or the monthly ones here on the podcast and YouTube, you just need to know that we really need to choose wisely in September how we're going to approach everyday situations. So flexibility, having to be flexible, having to thrive in uncertainty. There's so much creative force that can be created when we are flexible and when we are not pigeonholing our plans to be exact or to be the way. So, and I get covered in shivers on the back of my head as I talk about this. So I know that this is something that's really going to come up. We just have to be really okay that we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that's just the nature of what we're doing. Spirit also brings to my awareness that we have actually been quite an inflexible society for some time. I'm not getting any specific examples right now. I'll see if they can bring some through to me, but they're making me feel that, you know, it's like we go to school and then we have a plan and then we stay to that plan. And we've seen that with the past generation of people who like lived and died in their workplace. And that's the plan. You don't veer off the plan. And now Spirit is really encouraging us during this time of uncertainty to throw the plan out the freaking window, right? Like, you are just not allowing new to come in when you are pigeonholed by this plan that you created for yourself. And why can't you trust that the divine has a different plan for you, one that may be even more high vibe for you, even more in alignment with what you're actually calling in? And so let's just try to be as flexible as possible, and let's take responsibility for our choices this month. And this very well is, you know, what they're actually showing me is, I don't know if some of you are having arguments with your spouses or friends or family that are a repeat. Like, they are literally the same arguments and same conflicts that you've been having over and over and over and over again. And Spirit is telling us to make a different choice this month when it comes to our responses, our reactions. Maybe you're somebody who reacts because you've played out the scenario in your head so many times, you know exactly what to say and how to roll it out. Spirit is asking you to pause before you respond so that you can be inspired before you say the next thing or take the next move. They definitely take me more to relationships than anything else. So, you know, again, relationships is broad. It could be your significant other, it could be a mother, it could be a child. So just pause for a moment. Pause before you proceed forward, okay? Because again, Spirit is trying to get us out of this habit of reacting the way that we've always reacted, because then things will never change. And we're in this time right now where things are going to change, and it's up to us based off how we think, how we act, how we proceed is going to be really impactful on what that change looks like as a collective. So own your piece, own your part. Don't get overwhelmed with, again, the collective. Don't get overwhelmed with everything that's happening. Look at your backyard. I'm going to keep saying things like that because it's resonated with a lot of people when I talk like that, and it's what Spirit honestly keeps bringing me. What changes in the positive can you make on the home front, and trust that your neighbors are doing the same. And then when it comes time to come back as a collective, then the world will shift and change. The priorities will change. The way we show up in the world will change. But there's a lot of us, Spirit's making me feel, and I'm not trying to call people out, and I'm sorry if you feel seen in this moment. If you're triggered by what I'm about to say, then this is for you. But it's really like the way that we have been showing up is not serving us anymore. Maybe it served us for some time, and it's time to make this shift. So I'll give an example for myself that I feel when I hear this message from them is like, you know, in my marriage, I use humor to get away with anything, right? I avoid the deep conversations through humor. And so this could be for me, maybe pausing before I respond with something that will make my husband laugh so I don't get in trouble. And maybe it's just pausing for a moment and just saying, oh, I wonder, like, why does this bother you so much? And like, let's talk about this and like kind of get it out of the way. That's going to be for me a way to show up differently this month than I have shown up in the past 10 years of our marriage. So that's just kind of like a tangible example I want to give some of you. They are making me feel, though, to be honest with you, and I told you guys in August that I feel like it's the calm before the storm, and I hope you guys really took that lightly. And I know myself, I did not overbook my August. I took a lot of time off. I took a lot of time to myself to rest and replenish, and I hope a lot of you did the same, because they are making me feel that we are going to be heading into a little bit of conflict in September. They're making me feel that we will feel like we're rubbing up against sandpaper in multiple areas. So this could be career, this could be, again, family, this could be finances. But what Spirit is bringing to me is that this is an initiation, the initiation to the next level of ourselves. So yes, it's uncomfortable, yes, but when it's uncomfortable, please this month keep in mind that, can I be looking at this in a different way? Could I respond to this in a different way than I have in the past? These are opportunities to walk through. This is an initiation to truly change your mindset as this beautiful divine soul coming into this human experience. So there's a lot of shifting and changing that's going to be required internally this month. And I do feel heading into October, November, that we're going to be looking more at that collective shift and change. So again, if we look at this as like building blocks to what's to come, let's do the inner work first. It's really easy to avoid inner work because it's ugly, right? It's not pretty. It's not fun. And so we have to be able to like look at ourselves and our situations, and Spirit's wanting us to kind of own up and take responsibility for what we've co-created in our life so far. And knowing that there's so much more that's available to us if we kind of step out of our habitual way of reacting and acting. Okay. Okay. Where do you want me to go next? Spirit again brings me to this essence of some of us feeling like we're not doing what we really want to do in life. Again, this could be career. Like I am being leaned to more career. There's some people out there who are thinking like, I have it really good. Like, why am I feeling this yearning to leave? Or why am I feeling this yearning to shift? Pay attention to those yearnings. Pay attention to those yearnings. And it reminds me of a quote that Jonathan the Medium said on my podcast. What did you want to do when you were a kid? Like when you were a little kid, what did you dream about doing? You know, and kind of tune back into that innocence and that energy, and like, how did we end up in this role, in this career that we're in, that's making us feel a little bit uncomfortable, even though on paper it looks like we have it all made. They are bringing me to that because they are making me feel that there are some light workers that are avoiding their path due to lack of certainty, is what they bring me. Lack of certainty. So are you not making shifts that you are feeling so called to make because there's not certainty on the other side of it? And okay, fair enough. Uncertainty sucks, right? It does. It's not a pleasant energy. And so how then can you work through, how can I think about this differently? How can I approach this differently? How can I act differently than I always have before? And just see what sits on the other side of that change. Like what sits on the other side of that? You don't know. Because if you keep doing the same things will keep coming. This is, again, mindset. This is situations and opportunities. Going back to the arguments. It's the same argument. I bet you if you approach it a little bit differently, next time you're going to get something completely different that will likely be more in alignment with your new energy and kind of what you're bringing in. I'm hearing that song. I have a shockingly awful memory, but I can hear it in my head and I can't even say the words, but it's Take Me to Church. You know that song, Take Me to Church? He's got a very beautiful voice. I'm hearing that song over and over and over again. So that song is definitely for people who are listening. Maybe listen to the song, Take Me to Church. I can't sing it. I'll try to post a link to the official video on YouTube and the show notes so you guys can kind of listen to it, but there's got to be a message within that song. Okay, so they're taking me to fear of judgment. That's what that is. Listen to that song because there's going to be a message for people within that song, but they were just telling me it's fear of judgment. So there's a fear of judgment that's really stopping people from pursuing their greatest passions and what they really want to do. And this could be something so silly. It's almost like, I'm a nurse, but I really want to make socks for little kids. Like, I'm using like the silliest example ever, but it's like, why would a nurse do this? Why would a nurse want to even consider giving up this safe, secure job to do something that just like fills my heart and is so creative, and it also helps serve like the littlest tiny souls? That's just the example I got. I hope it makes sense to people. I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, okay, that's a bit random, but they are making me feel that this like take me to church is, sit with God, sit with your own spirit, sit with your higher self, sit with spirit in this kind of like church-like setting. This may not mean actually going physically to church, but I truly believe we have an internal church, right? It's the heart center that we can all return to whenever we're looking for a little bit of divinity, a little bit of guidance, and a whole lot of love. And so there's some of that, and this is going to help you move through judgment. Judgment comes up quite big. Here's the other thing that's coming through right now. I do have a lot of male listeners because I hear from a lot of you, but I'm going to be speaking to the women a little bit right now. They're taking me to these articles that have been posted a lot lately around women really being the hardest hit during COVID and during, quarantine, and like this uncertainty with childcare, because we are expected to still hold those roles at home. And so there's this fear of being judged, and there's this fear of extra judgment from like colleagues, from bosses on not doing your part. So I feel like a lot of people are starting to burn out, and this will actually come up in September. They're making me feel that there's an opportunity for people to hit massive burnout. And I'm talking especially to like working full-time moms. So if you, oh my God, they bring this so clearly. If you know a single mom out there, if you know someone who doesn't have the partner support financially and somebody that you can just like pawn off to, like, okay, I've been with the kids all day, take the kids for an hour, I need to get out of here. If you have a mama in your life that doesn't have that, be that person for them, okay? They need help. The moms who are struggling, and as women, we don't know how to ask for help so many of the times. And a lot of it they're bringing me is because when we ask for help, we're disappointed. So it's like, okay, I've asked for help before and it doesn't come up in a way that is actually helpful, right? So they're just making me feel so much. It's like, help your neighbor. But I really want to kind of single out the single mamas out there and the moms who don't have a lot of support. I even have moms in my life who are not single moms, but their husbands work out of town all the time. So they are literally, alone with the kids, like ongoing. And people are like, I can hear people saying, well, I mean, my mom was a single mom and she raised 4 of us kids on her own, but they didn't have the same pressures that we have today. We have careers. Even some of the moms I know that have kids and their husbands leave, they have their own businesses. So yeah, they might not be sitting at a desk job in the corporate world and having all those kind of patriarchy pressures that live within that realm of, systems. So government, health, like administration, right? Like that's dealing with patriarchy. Even when we're our own bosses, we are still wanting to thrive. We are still wanting to pursue our dreams. So I just, as an act of kindness, I just kind of throw it out there to you guys. Buy them a week of groceries. Say, can you send your kids over to come play for a couple hours? I want to bake with them, or I'd like to craft with them. Like, just give some mama some space in September if you have that ability. I know when I think about this, like there's a couple moms that I'm getting really close with here in town. So I may actually organize a play date. And I don't do that. And so that's kind of how I'll show up based off this message from Spirit. I'll be like, hey, do you want to send them over for a couple hours and give that mama some peace and quiet? So here's the other thing around this is we are done with individualism. Okay, that sounds really bad, but we are done with thinking that we have to do this all alone, right? And so where can we show up for other people in our lives, even if we're not extremely close with them, but we want to be because we feel this kinship with them? How can we support them? And this is also where Mother Mary energy kind of comes back in, because this makes sense now why she was so much around me this morning and right now, and why I'm focusing a lot of this forecast on the mamas. Because even the people who don't have children, you know what I'm talking about. You probably all have people in your lives, whether they're relatives or friends, that are really going to be struggling in September. And I'll tell you, as a mom, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, right? Like, we're all having to choose if we're going to send our kids back to school, if we're going to homeschool, if we're going to have to scale back in our careers. it's not fair that it's really resting on moms and on women, but this is the end of patriarchy. This is kind of what's happening, that uncomfortableness and that awkwardness. That's what's coming up, and that's what we're seeing. So where can we pitch in with one another? Right? Where can we pitch in with one another? So please keep that with you as you're going through the month of September. Please, even start, ask other, how are you doing? Right? Share your struggles. Share your struggles. This is where, Brene Brown talks about vulnerability. Be vulnerable enough to share your struggles and give somebody else a safe space to kind of exercise their own. This in turn is going to get you a deeper connection with the spirit world, and they're showing me just this up leveling of energetic wellness is kind of how they're showing it to me. If you're able to kind of take that challenge on and be on both sides of what I was talking about, they're making me feel that there's going to be this reward in just energetic upliftment. And when energetic upliftment comes into my life, I always think of stepping into meditation with more ease, connecting with the world of spirit with more ease, asking the world of spirit for insights and getting answers quicker. This is what comes with that energetic upliftment. If you're on the YouTube at 20 minutes and 22 seconds, I just saw a crazy light kind of come through. And so, yeah, I'm just going to see what else kind of comes up this month. I'm not an astrologer of sorts. I don't know if there's something that's happening this month with the stars. You know how we were able to see a comet for a while in July? I think it was July. We were able to see a comet for a while. Spirit's making me feel like there's going to be something in the night sky. I'd be cool if this was a UFO or something crazy like that. But I have a feeling there's going to be something by the end of September that is going to be make world news, something in the sky. But I want to say it's more cosmic. So maybe this is a crazy UFO sighting. I'm getting covered in shivers as I talk about this, by the way. Maybe it is a comet. Maybe it's this anomaly that happens that they couldn't have predicted. Maybe it is predicted. I don't even know, but they are making me feel like something's going to come in the night sky that's going to make world news. So let's wait to see how that comes up. I usually don't like doing predicty stuff because I'm oh, what if I'm wrong? But I'm just getting over myself. So I'm just going to say it anyways, but they're making me feel it's going to really transform some people. It's going to really transform some people. Again, they bring me to energetic upgrades, right? So this is kind of the integration where I talked about the initiation. Again, they're making me feel be kind to your neighbor over and over and over and over again. Be kind to your neighbor, be kind to your neighbor. Can we all just be kind this month? Can we just commit at the very least to be kind to one another this month? Because that's coming in a lot for this. And coming back to the mamas here very quickly. Sorry, because the Mother Mary energy comes in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I really need to talk about calling upon Mother Mary energy. So this is really easy. You don't have to be Catholic. You actually don't have to go to church, even though that Take Me to Church song was very prominent in this reading. Please listen to that song. You just need to talk to her. You just need to talk to her about your concerns and about your worries. They're also making me feel for those who have mothers in spirit. They're very near this month of September. So if you have a mama who's gone home already, I send you all my love because I can't imagine a life without my mom. And so I'm sending you my love first and foremost, but they are making me feel that there's something happening with the veil this month that's going to be bringing mother energy in very close. So if you don't have a mom on the other side, call in that Mother Mary energy. If you do have a mom on the other side, there's something around moms bringing through a ton of signs that they're around. So you can ask them for miracles, so to speak, and see what they can bring you, see what you will receive. So this is definitely for everyone, because I told you to call Mother Mary energy, but there's just this deep love of people who are missing their moms right now, and their moms have gone home. I actually am being shown a lot of people talking to their moms, even just in the past week. So on the YouTube channel, you'll be getting this on the 29th of August, and for those on the podcast will be the 1st. So just look at the week we just had and the week that we're having right now, and if you're somebody who's just been really intentionally calling to your mom and having a chat with them, just take this as a sign that they hear you, okay, and that they're listening and that they're very much around you. They're also taking me to even grandmas who were like mums, helped raise you. And I'm just going to kind of pull, I'm just going to see what else comes up, and I'm going to try to wrap this up. I just keep getting light worker cards. 4 just came up in a row, light worker cards. So this again is for people who, they're making me feel that there's people who are drawn to light workers. Like you're somebody who like follows a lot of mediums and you follow a lot of podcasts that talk about this kind of stuff, but you're still doubting that you have these gifts and abilities because you don't look and sound and feel like the people that you're following. But just know that you were drawn to follow them because they wanted you to get interested in it, and they wanted you to, you know, just like something wakes up inside of you when you are witnessing that stuff, okay? Like when you're witnessing other light workers share their light, really. Like if you're somebody who watches my Instagram and then you follow a whole bunch of other mediums, just know that Spirit is really trying to awaken the light workers within. So please take that as a sign that you're meant to get a little bit curious about your path. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe that means picking up some books. Maybe that means actually sitting in meditation and seeing what comes through. Maybe this means just starting your own personal dialogue with the world of Spirit. But if you are somebody who just truly does not believe, or you find it hard to comprehend that you have gifts because your life story doesn't sound like the life stories of those that you follow or really enjoy listening to, that doesn't matter. Every life has a story so unique to them that's like a thumbprint. And so that should not be a barrier for you stepping into your gifts fully. And just know that even if you do step into your gifts, there's no pressure to quit your job and do this work full time, right? And just know that even if you uncover your own abilities, it's going to help you through your life. It's going to help you feel more connected to Spirit. And when we feel more connected to Spirit, we make more aligned decisions for ourselves. And we show up in the world a little bit kinder, and we have this willingness to help. And when we have this willingness to help, Spirit aligns situations to us so that we can help. So this is really kind of just a final call up to wrap up kind of like the energies for September. This is just kind of like a final call out for people to really step into their abilities. And your ability might just be to light up a room. Your ability might just be to diffuse anger in a situation, whether this is like work or home or family. Your ability might be truly to channel angels and bring through messages of hope and, you know, internal love, which is always what angels represent to me. So don't underestimate your power. Don't underestimate your power. Don't underestimate that you are made up of the same cosmic dust that all of us are. Even the most famous light workers in the world, you're made up of the exact same stuff, and you come from the same place and you return to the same place. So you have the same access to that everyone else has. So ponder things, sit in silence more, try to get to know your spirit guides. Whether it's through meditation or visualization, or, you know, they're even bringing me think back to some childhood experiences that you had that couldn't be explained. They're making me feel like even at the dinner table, some like weird spiritual conversations that would have happened, even though you might be telling yourself you didn't grow up in a spiritual family. You're going to be able to recall some sort of conversation around a tea leaf reading, or, you know, grandma went to a psychic. And these are all little tiny markings in our life that are meant to kind of catch our attention. So Spirit makes me feel that some of the undercover light workers, the ones who haven't quite stepped fully into the awareness of their abilities, this is going to be unfolding a little bit more for you in September. But overall, if I were to summarize all this, I would say there's strong Mother Mary energy around in September. To me, that also translates to angel energy, because Mary is known as the Queen of Angels. And of course, she had a very close connection to angels in her existence here in life with Archangel Gabriel. So just know that that energy is very much around, and just like this, like thriving through uncertainty really kind of comes up. And you might need to actually create a mantra for yourself. I thrive in uncertainty. I thrive without a solid plan. I thrive in flexibility. These might be mantras that you might want to carry with you. And trust me, as a Virgo sun, and we're in Virgo season, this is not going to be easy, but it will prepare you for however this world ends up shaking out. And then finally, just really being part of this big shift that's happening and doing it at a very individual level, and be very conscious of the decisions that you make and the decision making process that you have, and how can you shift the insight, how can you shift how you've always approached the same situations differently, so that these situations stop coming up and so that new ones come up and they might be a little bit easier, they might be a little bit more progressive. So don't be afraid of change this month. It's going to be the beginning of the next phase of a little bit of rockiness that's coming for the rest of the year. So we're easing back into that into September. It's an initiation, Spirit makes me feel. So I hope that you enjoyed this forecast. If you did, please share it. Share on Instagram, tag me at Squamish Medium, even the YouTube if you're watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Definitely leave me a comment what resonated with you.